So the NBA offseason has officially started. Out of nowhere, we just got a blockbuster trade on the morning of Sunday, June 15th. Desmond Bane, out of nowhere, has been traded to the Orlando Magic for Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 4 first-round picks that are unprotected, and a lightly protected pick swap down the line. Those 4 first-round picks are going to come with the 16th overall pick right outside the lottery in this year's draft, a Phoenix first-round pick next year in 2026, which honestly has some juice to it, and it's probably the best asset Memphis has gotten back in this trade. They're going to get Orlando's 2028 unprotected first-round pick, Orlando's 2030 unprotected first-round pick, and that lightly protected pick swap is in the 2029 draft. So that ends the Desmond Bane era in Memphis. I'm going to break this trade down, give my thoughts and opinions on both sides, and see how I just want to grade this trade based off it initially happening. So this is going to make the Orlando Magic a very expensive team, but they are locking their core up, and we know that they needed shooting in the long term. We thought they can go out and add guys like Anthony Simons, maybe Kobe White this offseason was going to be their big time acquisition, but they just went out and got one of the best shooting guards on the market in Desmond Bane. And now Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Paolo Banchero, and Franz Wagner are all locked up for the long term. Franz Wagner's rookie extension kicks in next year, starts at $38 million, and it's going to go up to $51 million in 2030. Jalen Suggs' extension kicks in next year. It's going to start at $35 million, and it's going to go down to $26.5 million up until 2030. Paolo Banchero has not signed a rookie extension yet. That is going to happen this offseason, though, so the first year of that deal will happen in 2027. We know he's going to be making over $40 million because it's going to top what Franz Wagner get. And now you go out and you acquire Desmond Bane, who, like I said, is one of the best shooting guards in the NBA, and he's under contract for the next 4 seasons. $36.7 million in 2026, $39 million in 2027, $42 million in 2028, and $44.8 million in 2029. So the Orlando Magic have that core 4 locked up for the long term, and they also have most of their big men under control as well. Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Wagner, who's going to be recovering from that ACL tear, and Goga Badate. This Magic team just went from a team that had a ton of cap space a year ago to now deep into the luxury tax, deep into the first apron, and this trade is basically going to put them right up there against the second apron. They signed KCP last offseason, 3 years, $60 million. After 1 year, Cole Anthony, who's been there since 2020, was in that same draft class as Desmond Bane, is now getting sent over to the Memphis Grizzlies. I love this fit on paper for the Orlando Magic in a conference that is just so wide open next year. With Boston and their roster being in limbo, will Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, maybe even Jaylen Brown get traded this offseason, and Jason Tatum's injury, the Pacers are a great team, but they're not 2016 Warriors scary. You could definitely beat them in a playoff series. Same with Cleveland, same with New York, same with Detroit. Who knows what's going on in Milwaukee, and can you even trust Philadelphia's health next year? This could be a conference for the taking for the Orlando Magic, who haven't been to the finals in 15 years, back when Dwight Howard was their best player. So now they have an elite perimeter defender in Jalen Suggs, and now they have an elite combo guard next to Jalen Suggs, because I think Desmond Bane can play the 1 and can play the 2. Last year, he really showcased good combo guard material over there in Memphis, especially when Ja Morant was hurt. Desmond Bane averaged 5.3 assists, his second straight year averaging over 5 assists. He shot about 40% from 3 every single year of his career. A team that was one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in NBA history just went out and got a guy that shoots around 41% from 3 in his career on 6.5 attempts a night. That's exactly what the Orlando Magic needed, and you're not really going to care about Desmond Bane's defense because Franz, Paolo, if Jonathan Isaac's still on this team, Jalen Suggs, they have great defenders around Desmond Bane, and it's okay if you have one bad defender on the floor, and if he's out there as your point guard defensively guarding the smallest guy or maybe not the most lethal offensive weapon, you can kind of hide Desmond Bane's defensive deficiencies over there as well. So this is a very risky move. I think Mikal Bridges and Rudy Gobert and those draft pick trades in the past have really skewed the market in a seller's market's favor, because now getting 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, it's a lot. It definitely is, but I think with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner and Suggs and even Desmond Bane being as young as they are, because Desmond Bane still just 26 years old, he'll be 27 at the start of next year's season, I'm not really worried about trading away your 2028 first rounder or your 2030 first rounder or their 2029 pick swap. Everybody's going to be under contract in 5 years. Franz will be under contract, Paolo Banchero will be under contract, Suggs will be under contract. It's not the end of the world, so I like them being aggressive and seeing that their window can be open right now and not being too passive for the future. I think the most valuable pick that they gave up was probably that 2026 Suns pick, because we have no idea what they're doing this offseason. We know that they're going to trade away Kevin Durant, but how good is this roster going to look in the Western Conference next year? There's a chance Memphis could have just snagged another lottery pick. And I'll say, though, for Memphis, this kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't think that they were going to end up moving Desmond Bane and just basically a salary dump / draft pick acquisition type deal. Getting draft capital is great for Memphis. They didn't really have that many picks outside of theirs going forward. They would have had the 18th overall pick in this year's draft, but they traded away Marcus Smart to get off that contract last year at the deadline and had to give up that pick to DC. So now you have the 16th overall pick in this year's draft. Maybe you get a potential lottery pick next year as well, and then you're also going to get some draft capital down the line that could be in a different deal. I wonder what's going to happen with Memphis, because just a few years ago, this seemed like the next version of what the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Houston Rockets are today, one of the best young teams in the league. So what are they going to do around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., who does have a massive contract extension looming? The bench has gotten thinner and thinner. Jake LaRavia didn't work out. David Roddy didn't work out. But they've added guys like Zach Edey, Jalen Wells. We'll see if Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams will now have more opportunity in 2026 and onwards, because they just traded away Desmond Bane. Is Cole Anthony just going to get rerouted in this deal, because you already have Ja Morant and Scottie Pippen Jr.? How does Cole Anthony feel about being a third-string point guard? Is that even worth it on your team right now? Or do you trade away Cole Anthony to a team that could use a point guard at the moment? Maybe he's a Milwaukee Buck or something like that next year. I think KCP is fine for the next 2 years. It's going to be a bad contract, but maybe he could fit better around Ja Morant than what he did in Orlando. He's not going to have that much of a workload, and he's not going to be the savior as the veteran that he was coming over from Denver to Orlando. So now you're going to have Ja. Maybe you're going to have Jalen Wells as the starting 2, KCP as the starting 3, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey. Do you think you're going to lose that many more games after trading away Desmond Bane? Maybe not. That contract, like I said, does get fairly expensive over the next few years. So maybe Memphis was trying to have as much cap flexibility as possible, given that Ja Morant is basically their only contract that is guaranteed in the 2028 season. It's basically Ja Morant in 2027, KCP's player option, the final year Brandon Clark's and John Konchar's deal, and it's basically an open cap sheet right there. But hey, Memphis hasn't really been a big free agency destination, but they are going to create a little bit of cap space with this deal. It really came out of nowhere. I did not expect Orlando to be a Desmond Bane trade partner. I thought maybe if, I don't know, Jimmy Butler back at the time or Kevin Durant ever ended up going to Memphis, Desmond Bane was going to be going to a different team. Haven't really thought about Orlando being this far into the luxury tax, something we haven't seen from them in a while, but I'm excited for the Orlando Magic next year. And on paper, this could definitely be a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. They looked really good to start off the year. Powell gets hurt. Powell comes back. Franz Wagner gets hurt. Jalen Suggs was never healthy next year. And now if you have that core 4 and that rotation of big men, and maybe the guy you draft at number 25 is NBA ready, add in Tristan Da Silva, Anthony Black, who you were able to keep in this deal going forward, the Magic do have a deep roster and could definitely contend in the Eastern Conference next year. I think on paper they're a top 5 team after adding Desmond Bane. Like I said, I can't put Boston up there. Like, you definitely have New York, Indiana, and Cleveland. Maybe on paper the only teams that you would say are going to be better based off previous success, but who knows? I mean, Orlando took Cleveland to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals back in the 2024 playoffs, and this Orlando Magic team, its offense, its dynamic, is going to look so much different. So I'm really excited just to see this all play out. This is the first major domino here in the 2025 offseason, so I'm really interested to see what else happens, because, hey, we may get a Kevin Durant trade today, tomorrow, or Tuesday. I know the NBA kind of discourages major deals to happen in the NBA Finals. Well, here you go. You got one here on Father's Day, 2 years after Bradley Beal was traded on Father's Day back in that 2023 offseason. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I mean, I'm not really too worried about these first round picks from Orlando since their core is under contract, so I'm going to give them an A for this deal. For Memphis, it's kind of like a TBD to find out what's next. I'm just going to say they got great value for somebody they took with the last pick in the first round 5 years ago. So I'll give them a B for this deal. I think it's a nice draft pick haul for somebody like Desmond Bane. I'm excited about that Suns pick and what it could be next year, but I wonder if we're going to see Memphis make another move right now as well. I wouldn't expect them to trade away Jaren Jackson Jr. or Ja Morant. I think they're going to just try to reshuffle this roster around that duo. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Drop a thumbs up if you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.